So, have you heard of Chaffles? Well, I didn't either, but a few months back my mom told me about Chaffles. And essentially, these are cheesy waffles. All right, that's that simple. So I picked up these waffle makers, mini waffle makers, right? Seems tedious, but these things are like $10, especially if you live in America, like it's even cheaper, unlike for Canadians. But $10, right? No props. I'll even leave an Amazon link in the description, but this stuff has so much potential because of course you can make like a waffle, just as good tasting waffle, just without any ingredients that include flour or anything, and way less preservatives than the Eggos and whatnot and all that other stuff. But don't quote me because I don't eat Eggos that often. Either way, this little waffle maker, and I got this other griller one too, just because, it was on sale, Amazon, right? It looked like the little, flatbread. Beautiful. So, my plan is to change the Chaffle game. Change the Chaffle game. And that's exactly what this video is going to do. So this video is going to be on 6 and maybe even more dessert Chaffle recipes. So, I'm going to do I'm going to do a whole Chaffle series because I have a lot of funky ideas that I want to fill around with that I think you're going to like. So, this is the dessert installment of Chaffles. And essentially, I'll make a Chaffle playlist because this is a big development when it comes to, keto, low carb, and any sort of diet, snack or meal. Because this is just whole foods and, no funky little requirements needed except for like a $10 little grill. That's it. So, let's get into the funky desserts. Okay, so this is one of my first Chaffle recipes. This is the Cinnamon Toast Eggo Chaffle. There's technically no cheese, but it's a keto waffle, okay? So we got 1 egg. That's the start of every Chaffle / keto waffle. Then we got 2 tablespoons of cinnamon protein powder. I have Cinnamon Toast Crunch flavored whey from GNC. Half teaspoon of baking powder. And then you have a tablespoon of water and a tablespoon of ghee. So, like I said, there's technically no cheese, but this is just unreal. You could add cheese in it if you want to make it more like a breakfast type of thing. I mean, people like waffles in a lot of different ways, right? So you stir this up very easily. You're going to put it into the Chaffle maker, and it's going to come out very much like a regular waffle, okay? Except it has that cinnamon flavor, and realistically, you could also use some cinnamon, just pure cinnamon if you'd want, but you're going to have to kind of experiment a little bit with that. But I will tell you that even with 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, the flavor is very nice, and it's subtle, but it's still tasty enough. I just, however, prefer the protein powder because you get a little more protein, and it's delicious. So as you can see, it comes out with a nice consistency. You can even put some butter on there, make it look exactly like an Eggo. And then I have Walden Farms pancake syrup, so you can actually go down to the description and see the different syrups they have. Walden Farms is one of the best 0-calorie sweeteners, sauces, salad dressings, everything. And they're normally not made with all the other, funky artificial sweeteners that I'm very critical of on my page. So, highly recommend that. Look at the drizzle. I mean, it's just like an Eggo waffle, except better. Now, we have Eggo chocolate chips. So, this is very similar to that previous recipe, but we have 1 egg, a tablespoon, actually 2 tablespoons of vanilla protein powder. I use very high quality vanilla protein powder. Again, if you don't have this, you can use vanilla extract, but you're going to have to experiment a bit on the taste of this one, depending how strong you like it. Then a teaspoon of almond flour and a teaspoon of psyllium husk. This is very important because it's going to make the consistency come out in a way that I've truly tested for so long now. And having the addition of psyllium husk really does help basically make this a digestive chaffle at the same time, because having the psyllium husk in there is basically going to regulate your digestive system for a couple days. And it's just very convenient, keeps people full too. It's basically a nice soluble fiber. And then we have, tablespoon of water, tablespoon of Lily's chocolate chips, or my keto chocolate recipe, which is also fantastic, and I recommend you go watch the video. And then after, you're going to stir this all up, and you're going to put it a conservative amount in each of the Chaffle makers here, because it is something that has more density to it with the chocolate chips. And then I also have this other pancake one here because I have my pancake recipe, which is basically very similar to this, except it's easier to make a large number of pancakes with this method. So you can see how these turn out. Honestly, fantastic for making in bulk. And you can sprinkle some chocolate chips on there too. Have some fun with that. Okay, so this one's pretty funky. This is a chocolate peanut butter chaffle, or waffle, I guess. And you have 1 egg, 2 tablespoons of protein powder, but this time I have chocolate wafer protein powder, so that's basically coffee crisp, and that makes it very subtle. It really goes well with peanut butter. But if you have chocolate peanut butter protein, if you have plain chocolate protein, or if you have cocoa, you might need to use a little bit more cocoa, but you can use either of those things. And basically, if you add in a tablespoon of almond flour to make it more thick, a tablespoon of ghee to give it some moisture, and half teaspoon of baking powder and a tablespoon of water, that'll really come out with a nice consistency. Now keep in mind, you need the water if you're using almond flour. Almond flour is going to make it more dense like an English muffin, and water is going to give it more moisture. Now I also recommend, if you're a big peanut butter person, to look at my Reese cup recipe, because that is just unreal. It's one of the best recipes I've ever made, and it's just amazing. Okay, now here's some healthy peanut butter tips for diets and keto in general. Always use natural peanut butter. Okay, most peanut butter is full of hydrogenated palm oil and all these other omega-6 inflammatory fats, hydrogenated oils. You don't need them. You don't want them. Get regular peanut butter and just add in a bit of pink salt, right? And some stevia, okay? Stir that around on top. And if you already have a chocolate-ish waffle here, it's going to be amazing. Goes great in the morning with coffee. For the people who are having a hard time quitting junk food, this is an amazing option for you. And I'm telling you, the peanut butter in its natural form with a bit of stevia and salt really tastes like the real fake thing. Now, Eggo, chocolatey, thick and fluffy Eggos. You got high quality chocolate protein powder, of course an egg, and I actually used 3 tablespoons of chocolate protein powder this time, opposed to the regular 2, because you really need the chocolate taste to stand out. Then you have a tablespoon of ghee, a tablespoon of water, half teaspoon of baking powder, and if you use cocoa for this instead of protein powder, you're going to need a bit of stevia for sure, whether it's, and be careful if you're using something like erythritol or Krista, but I'm telling you, using it with a good quality protein powder, most people have a chocolate protein powder, and from there you can mess with this in a lot of other funky ways. I actually like keeping these in the fridge and putting them in the toaster, and they come out very crispy, at the right consistency. And then you can also mess them around a little bit with some caramel Walden Farm sauce or other sauces. Basically, from there you even have the versatility to add in some ice cream, make it like an ice cream sandwich, and I probably overdid it a little too much with the caramel sauce here, but it's still a great snack to have. And the only ice cream that I found to be keto friendly in my 8 years of keto dieting is Halo Top. But the caveat here is, if you're new, do not start off with this. You want to quit the blood sugar spikes and get your body weaning off of blood sugar spikes, because undoubtedly this will raise your blood sugar a little bit, but in small amounts, even like a little scoop here, is totally keto friendly, and it's a great option. Now, Oreo / double chocolate waffles. This one's definitely a work in progress, but right now I have an egg as usual, then I have 2 tablespoons of cocoa, and then I have 2 tablespoons of Krista. I think Swerve is a similar enough sweetener, and then I have, of course, half teaspoon of baking powder, and I also have a tablespoon of ghee. Again, grass-fed, high quality is key. So here's where you have the opportunity to kind of tinker with the recipe a bit, and everyone's going to have a different variation here. But I have this s'mores coffee sweetener, and this is not the cleanest sweetener. It's not stevia. It is sucralose and sulfate potassium, so it's not the best. You can watch my sweetener video to learn more about that. Or you can use a half teaspoon of vanilla extract, and either one of those flavors or any other sort of funky flavor you have is going to be beneficial. And then you throw in a tablespoon of water, and then pour the mixture into the chaffle maker, and then boom, you got a nice double chocolate looking waffle. Of course, the different flavor that you use is going to affect things and create these individual variances, but I'm sure whatever you come up with, putting a little bit of cream cheese, right, maybe a little bit of sweetener on there too, stevia based sweetener, is going to make this like a cheesecake type of flavor almost, right? That's kind of like the thickness that this comes out as. And of course, you can also put ice cream on top, make it like an ice cream sandwich. I really like that option. Actually, I love that option, and that's really one of the main bonuses with this particular flavor. So from this point out, what I want you to do is experiment with these recipes, see which one you like best, and tinker with some of them if you don't have all the pieces of the puzzle to make these recipes exactly. If you do, I'm very confident you'll find that they taste amazing, especially the first few recipes in this video, because those are ones that I've really worked for months to get the kinks out of. I actually filmed this video a long time ago, 2019, and just releasing it now because I experimented with more and nothing has came close to these recipes. The only one I'd really like you to tinker with is the double chocolate one at the end. That one could use a little bit of work, so test that one out and add your own little spices and varieties into there. But what I will say is all of those recipes are things that I have personally worked through for months to find the best flavor combinations, the best density, the best thickness, moisture, everything, okay? But I'm sure some of you are still better cooks and chefs and bakers than I am. So test these out. If you have all the pieces of the puzzle, let me know what you thought of them, okay? If you have to make do with your own ingredients, then also let me know, because maybe you come up with something better than I did. But either way, like this video, subscribe to me right now, follow my Instagram, and also go to my website, romanoketo.com, if you want help, if you want my programs, if you want my free downloads. I have so much up there that is going to help you do keto properly from somebody who's been doing keto longer than most people on the internet, okay? And watch more of my videos if you want more cool recipes, especially the ones I've listed in here, like the Reese cups. Honestly, unbelievable, okay? And the pancake recipe, those are fantastic, and you can actually make them with the chaffle makers. So get those, link in the description as well. But thank you for watching. My name is Anthony Romano. Peace.